this pattern is going to get cut out in individual pieces. First is going to be the back piece, and then I will cut it out for the front piece, and then finally I'm going to cut out the weld. So it's going to be cut into 3 separate pieces eventually, but I'm just getting the layout and the standoff and all that sort of thing. Alright, got my outline traced. Got some good section of leather. Give my little hawk bill here a nice drop. And just go lightly at first so you can trace this line. Alright, I'm going to case this leather. Okay, so this knife is going to get a keeper strap. It's going to come around from the back side and come around all 3 layers of the sheath and just hold everything securely, but I need to attach it before I sew my belt loop over. So I've already punched my holes, and I'm going to go do this in the other shop on my little bench anvil, because this just gives too much, and I won't deform that head enough and make it cinch up. So I'll be back. Okay, there we are. And I'll set the snaps last. I have the belt loop stitched in the back, and I'm gluing this weld in now, and I just want to make sure that it's going to stop the knife before the point reaches the bottom. I don't want it digging in, and that looks good. So I'll get the top board glued on now. So I can belt sand everything flush before I lay out my stitches. Alright, when the haze disappears, I'll stick the 2 together, or the 3. And when it dries, I'll belt sand it, lay out stitching, and other than wet forming, we're going to be just about done with the sheath. When everything's wet formed, then we'll actually put our snaps in after we know we'll get a nice snug hold on the knife. Okay, I have everything belt sanded down flush. So I'm just going to do my edges here, which we don't do until we have belt sanded. And we'll do them front and back. Okay, I set my my groover to lay out my stitch. Alright, so we're going to go stitch this, and then it'll be time to wet form the sheath and then set our snap. Alright, so I went in the house and I wet the sheath right in here. And when we wet form for this type of sheath, for a knife like this, it's not so involved as one of my pouch sheaths, since this has a keeper strap. So we're just going to insert the knife down in there, make sure it's bottomed out on the weld, and then we're just going to form a little pocket right here, just to define where that goes. There, and that's all it needs. Now the keeper strap will come over like that and snap it all in place and just really securely hold that knife. So I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. I'm going to go wipe this knife down and come back when we're setting the snap and touching up the dye a little bit. The water spots it a little bit, so we'll just hit it with another go over with the dye and then buff it. Okay, it's almost dry, but it's been enough time to let us set our snap. So what I did is I put the knife in there and I did a good overlap, and then I marked where the snap head is going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and punch that hole. Now I'm going to put the knife in there. I'm going to overlap again. Just like that. There we are. I'm just going to take my pencil. And that marks where the other hole has to be punched. Alright, now we can set our snaps. Of course, the base of these snaps are metal, and the reason for this little tab that comes up is so the end of that snap, rather than just have it end here and then have their handle of the knife up, I don't want this metal piece to ever mar the stag handle. Put a little anvil back there. Put the base of our snap on there, and I have to go get my hammer. I shouldn't have to do this in there on my anvil. So as you start flaring this, it'll push it down tight. To hit it, make sure you get that and fold it over real well. Make sure it's deep in the leather. If you can spin it with your fingers, then you need to hit it some more. There we go. Alright, that's well set. Now we'll do the snap head. I'm going to flip our anvil over. That side is cup shaped. and you just repeat the process. Again, making sure you get it formed over the end of that rivet. I started lightly at first. There we go. There we are. And again, test it. If you can't turn it with your fingers, then you set it tight enough. So now, other than some final buffing, there we go. And that's going to hold the knife really securely. Won't come out, won't rattle around, and as I say, I did it this way so if he's walking through the brush or something, nothing's going to snag that and pop it open on him. Alright. Now the only thing I have left to do to the sheath is I'm going to let it thoroughly dry. I'm going to treat it with my neatsfoot oil beeswax mixture. And then in years to come, Pat, you can once every couple of years you can rub some neatsfoot oil just lightly into the leather, let it soak in for 25-30 minutes, wipe off the excess, and if you don't have neatsfoot oil, you can use regular olive oil, not the virgin olive oil because that has too much green matter in it, but just the regular cheap olive oil is what a lot of people use on their saddlery, things like that. Other than that, it'll be a good sheath for you, and it'll protect the knife, and it'll protect you from the knife. Alright, so I'm going to set this out in the sunlight, let it finish drying, do one more color application, and then buff it real well, and then we're going to do our neatsfoot oil. And that neatsfoot oil is going to darken it just a little bit, and then we'll be wrapping this up, and then we can go and do a final polish on the knife, and then I'll get some video of me putting the maker's mark on. Other than that, it's going to be finished. I got to clean it real well. I've got some buffing compound on it that I have to get out, but yeah. So far, so good. Alright, let me get a little marking solution on here. And we're doing the DC first. Oh, my ground clip popped off. Alright, let's give it another shot. Okay. Okay, good edge. Alright, first thing I want to do is put the cap on my marking solution. Get this off here and discard this felt.
stick my stencil right here for a moment. We'll clean this off. Okay, let me get to where you can see it. It's always a challenge getting the right angle. But there it is. Logo is on the knife. Knife is at final polish. Now I'm going to put an edge on it. Okay, time has come to get an edge on this thing. So we pre-formed the cutting edge before heat treatment, just to take a lot of the work out of trying to put the edge on the hard steel. So this shouldn't take too awful long. We're going to do our standard sharpening, running it through 3 grades of Arkansas stone and finishing on a leather strop. Under the hard. Hey Pat, it's almost razor sharp, but I'll tell you, it will do what you want it to do. Okay, sharpened, sheathed, and finished. Pat, I enjoyed making this knife for you, and I want to thank you again. One, for just for being a great YouTube buddy. Wish Geography let us hang out together. I'm sure we would, but thank you also for the patronage. I enjoyed making this knife for you, and it is nice and sharp, and it's ready to use, and it'll be a good knife for you, Pat. We'll get it in the post for you tomorrow after I take a few pictures of this from a website when I make a website. So enjoy it. There's going to be a care and use card I include with all of my knives, just telling you about the '01 steel, and it's just common sense stuff. And I'm sure it's going to look as good in 10 years as it does right now. I enjoyed making this for you. Thank you for the YouTube friendship, Pat. Thank you for all your kind comments, and thank you for your patronage in what I do. It means a lot to me. So, as I've said to you so often online, I mean this. Cheers, buddy. I appreciate you. We'll see you later.